Today, I will take you on a tour of my breakfast buffet experience at APA Hotel Ryogoku. During my 8-day stay at this hotel, I found it to be an excellent choice for several reasons. Good day mga ka-online palaboy! My recent journey to Japan was truly remarkable, filled with exceptional adventures and delightful culinary experiences. Today, I will take you on a tour of my breakfast buffet experience at APA Hotel Ryogoku. During my 8-day stay at this hotel, I found it to be an excellent choice for several reasons. Firstly, its strategic location near metro stations and key tourist destinations allowed me to explore on foot easily. Secondly, the hotel's ergonomic room, which I'll showcase separately, were quite impressive. Lastly, the affordable rates, including a breakfast buffet, made it a wise choice. Upon check-in, I was pleasantly surprised by APA Hotel's smart features. I could print my own buffet voucher at the kiosk. Live and alive from Ryogoku, Sumida City, Tokyo, Japan. It's my first morning at APA Hotel and I'm eagerly anticipating my breakfast. I'm heading to the 4th floor where the Le Veranda restaurant is located. Upon entry, I handed over my voucher, and the staff gave me a reminder plate with having a meal and finish on each side. A large TV caught my eye at the cutlery section. I started my breakfast journey at the bread section, with croissants being my top choice. A fruit top croissant. My goal for today was to sample a bit of everything to savor all the flavors. Next was the salad bar. I was delighted to find ham at this buffet section, as I've been missing pork. I also grabbed some toasted bread. It was my first time encountering the famous Japanese omelette, and I was excited to try it. My previous Japanese food experiences were mainly centered around tonkatsu, ramen, and sushi. I briefly glanced at the soup section but decided to save it for later, bringing my initial choices to the dining table. Of course, I couldn't pass up on miso soup, as I have a deep appreciation for this Japanese classic. After enjoying my first plate, I explored the buffet offerings further. This time, I added sardines and fermented veggies to my selections or the side dishes. packed fermented soybeans with the spider web composition piqued my curiosity. I couldn't resist trying the soft tofu, which was different from what I was accustomed to in the Philippines. Here in Japan, they serve it with soy sauce. At the next counter, I spotted a trending rectangular scrambled egg, and I had to see what the fuss about. There was also a grilled fish section with options like salmon. In another corner, I found what appeared to be a hot pot section with soup-based options and raw veggies. Next to it, saucy fish dishes tempted me, but I decided to save those for another day. My eyes lit up as I discovered another meat section. I grabbed some thick sliced ham and sausage before returning to my dining table. To my surprise, there was a coffee vending machine. However, I decided to try it later as I didn't want to mix coffee with miso soup and preferred to fully savor the miso soup. After placing my food on the table, I visited the rice section. I chose rice that resembled fried rice mixed with tiny clams. I noticed some of the people pouring a soup stock on it, but I opted to leave it dry, enhancing it with onion leek and shredded seaweeds. I couldn't resist the saucy fish sections when I passed by again. I also revisited the soft tofu, this time with a different flavor. Curiosity got the better of me and I decided to try a hot pot. I heated a strip of seaweeds, mixed it with raw veggies, and poured hot soup over it. And I wasn't done with soup yet. I discovered a stock meant for udon noodles, which had stripes of beef in it. I wanted more liquid in this morning. Finally, it was time to dig in. After that hearty meal, I decided to try their soft ice cream, which fascinated me. I didn't expect a hotel to offer it, and the best part was that it was a DIY experience. I felt like a child again, having fun swirling the ice cream. The hotel's coffee vending machines also offered iced version of your favorite caffeine fixes. To make my ice cream more enjoyable, I stopped by the fruit section to add toppings. Since I miss Philippine mangoes, I opted for local produce to satisfy my cravings. Before returning to my table, I grabbed some caramel pudding, thinking it would satisfy my sweet tooth. Then unexpectedly, I found myself back at the beverage section, which I picked up a glass of orange juice. In my honest review, I must say that I enjoyed the food and the ambience overall. The buffet section was well organized and I appreciated the self-serving options, especially the coffee vending machine and soft ice cream machine. If there's one thing I might skip next time, it's the two soft tofu varieties. My taste bud preferred soft tofu with syrup and tapioca first. I truly relished the miso soup with its rich flavor from fermented soybeans, and the seafood fried rice was a must-try, offering a distinctive flavor. It's my second morning at APA Hotel Ryogoku. Today, I'm in a bit of a rush as I'm planning to head to Bosonomura for my samurai cosplay. I opted for a light yet energizing breakfast, taking only small portions of my favorites. In my third breakfast, I decided to go for a hearty meal. I grabbed my favorite seafood fried rice and tried Japanese curry for the first time. Typically, it was served over plain rice, but I chose just the sauce to dip my ham and sausage in. My fourth breakfast greeted me with rainy Tokyo weather. This time, I was curious about a bun with a smooth and crunchy texture. And on a rainy day, nothing better than a hot bowl of udon ramen. Over the last 3 days, I've been tempted by a packed fermented soybean dish. Today, I finally give in. I also couldn't resist trying cube-like fries that caught my attention. For today's breakfast, I decided to sit near the TV as I monitor the weather, planning to visit Shibuya Sky later. I rounded off my breakfast with a fruit overload, especially enjoying the mango, which reminded me of sweet and delicious Carabao mangoes in the Philippines. And of course, the miso soup always calls me, even while enjoying dessert, a unique but heavenly combination. On my fifth breakfast, Le Veranda restaurant seems quite crowded. I started to feel a bit bored with the familiar menu, but still enjoyed some of my favorites, including the Hikiji carrot side dish. This was my first time trying coffee from their vending machine, and it tasted great, especially the latte. Since I love creamy coffee, I added some milk for the extra creaminess. Prior to returning to my room, I took a detour to Lawson on the second floor. This feature proves incredibly convenient for tourists like myself, as it allows the purchase of essential items without the need to venture beyond the hotel premises. A cold breeze greeted me on my sixth breakfast. I missed the fruit croissant, so it was my first item on my plate. And, of course, miso soup couldn't be missed. After staying at APA Hotel for 6 days, I just discovered that they have a steamed rice machine. It's fascinating to watch it serve rice with options for serving sizes. I choose a medium size and paired it with curry, which I believe pairs perfectly with plain rice. It's best enjoyed with a slice of ham and sardines. On my 7th breakfast, another rainy morning left me feeling a bit bored with the same set of food. I scrolled around for options before finally deciding. I toasted my favorite bun as my first item. Today, I opted for a lighter breakfast as I look forward for my ramen adventure at Ipudu for lunch. This is not a part 2 of my breakfast. It was just happened that I wore the same shirt as yesterday, which served as my sleeping outfit. And now, for my final breakfast here at APA Hotel Ryogoku, the weather today is fine. And I'm having a light breakfast with a few pieces of bun, some ham, and a plate of food. I have a hectic schedule today as I need to get to the airport early to visit the Museum of Aeronautical Sciences in Narita, just a 15-minute bus ride away. I'm thinking of trying a flight simulation there. If I decide to book at APA Hotel Ryogoku again, I will explore alternating days for breakfast options to prevent boredom with the same meal each day. There are also many restaurants around Ryogoku which I will try on my next visit. Since I paid for the buffet, I don't want to skip breakfast here at the hotel. I want to savor each cent of my money spent on this tour. Thank you for joining me for this breakfast and stay tuned for the next episode.